Good morning, everybody. Today, we're going to spend some time just discussing what the next step is in our series of national park projects. So far, we have completed our national parks preview. Your first assignment was to share 5 facts. Then you shared 10 images. And this past week, you shared with me the answers to 5 essential questions about your national park with your partners, or if you were working by yourself, you did this independently. This week, we're going to focus on writing a review. So, this week, you as an individual are going to watch informational videos on YouTube that relate to your national park. You're also going to read reviews of your national park on TripAdvisor that other visitors to the park have posted. Based on what you see, hear, and read, you will write a review of your national park. And a review is a type of writing in which you acknowledge what you read what you read and what you watch, and you make an evaluation based on the feedback, based on the video presentations, based on what people have to say about the national park. Would you want to visit this place? And then explaining why or why not. And what did you learn about, and what can you share out based on what you've learned? So I've included in your assignment 2 resources. Let me just make this a little bit larger for us. You have 2 resources here. These are guides to kind of help you. If you've never written a review before, this is like the basic structure. So you have an introduction, a body, which has all of your evidence, and then, of course, a conclusion. Your review should be fairly short, so it's only going to be about 3 paragraphs, probably less than a full page, with a very clear and concise presentation of your opinion. If you present facts, like the date that a park was opened, that needs to be accurate. If you share the latitude and longitude, that also needs to be true. The review should have a firm and assertive tone, so you either would visit or you would not visit. You aren't really like explaining both sides of a story. I know that that can be challenging sometimes to be assertive in our language, but this is an opportunity where your opinion matters and people are going to rely on you. You are allowed to have any opinion that you want, but do be mindful that you are going to be sharing these in terms of based on what you've learned. What are your larger takeaways? And then the reviewer, that's going to be me. No, excuse me, that's going to be you. You need to establish a voice and a tone and a personal style that makes your review interesting. I don't want something that's just boring. I'm going to be reading about, 67 of these. If everyone does their job, I'll be able to read 67. And I would love to hear your attitude and your voice and your tone coming across in your writing. So that's really important. So just make sure that you are being true to who you are and true to your own thought process, but also holding form to creating a review that people are eventually going to read. And we have this document that we're going to use. Now, each week we're kind of alternating between individual work and then work that you can do together and submit as a team. This is going to be an assignment that I'm hoping to receive individually from every student. So to get us started, I'm going to I've got a copy of this available, and I just want to share with you how you can do this process. So one moment while I get my other tabs ready. So the first thing that I'm looking for on this document is going to be your name. There still seems to be some lackadaisical behavior when it comes to putting in your names. It really is important because I see many of these, and unless your name is here, I'm going to not necessarily know whose work it is that I'm looking at. So this is going to be due on Thursday, May 14th. And the first part of this document is the introduction. I'm asking you to introduce the park, its history. So I'm looking for the date that it was established, where it's located, and what it's known for. Your hint is if you did the assignment from last week where you answered those 5 research questions, most of that information is going to land right here. So for example, today I'm going to be kind of sharing out how to model, or I'm going to be modeling rather, the Yosemite National Park. So to gather this information, we're going to just hop onto the website and we can enter in that data. Your introduction is going to be fairly simple and straightforward. So in speaking about and reviewing the data and notes that I have about Yosemite, my introduction is going to be something a little bit like this. Now, because I am going to be talking and typing at the same time, I'm going to remind you that we do have our voice typing feature that's still available. Yosemite National Park was founded on October 1st, 1890, period. It's located in the Sierra Nevada region of California, period. It covers 1,169 square miles and 95% of the park is designated wilderness, period. 4 million people visit Yosemite National Park each year, period. Yosemite is a Miwok word that means killer, period. The most famous parts of Yosemite National Park include Half Dome and El Capitan, period. So now that I've got my basic piece here, I'm just going to take some time and go back through. And this already has, it recognizes that we need to make a few changes. So I'm just going to proofread 85% of the park is designated wilderness. 4 million people visit each year. Yosemite is a Miwok word that means killer, actually not killer. So we'll just put this in quotations and give that a big T. So this is my basic introduction. Yosemite National Park was founded on October 1st, 1890. It's located in the Sierra Nevada region of California. It covers 1,169 square miles, and 95% of the park is designated wilderness. 4 million people visit Yosemite National Park each year. Yosemite is a Miwok word that means killer. The most famous parts of Yosemite National Park include Half Dome and El Capitan. So then, once we've introduced our place, now we need to talk about our opinion. So I have TripAdvisor open as a website. So I can see this here is El Cap. So it's a nice straight up climb. If you have Netflix at home, I highly, highly, highly recommend watching the videos that are available about climbing El Cap. It's a pretty neat film. The film title is called The Dawn Wall, and it's really neat. It's about a couple of free climbers and their journey as they eventually climb the complete, almost up and down straight climb of El Cap on a part called the Dawn Wall, because it's the part where the sun shines first. So what I have is the TripAdvisor website, and it's going to share with me some information here. We've got some traveler pieces of information, so we can check out these, the Half Dome, we can check out the valley, we can review Glacier Point, places that you can stay, places that you can eat, family-friendly hiking excursions, and things like this. So my suggestion would be to, just kind of start off with looking at our reviews. So let us go to Yosemite Valley. So out of 5 circles, this one gets 4.5. It's been reviewed over 6,000 times. So what we can do is kind of briefly review what the overview says, and then we can click up here and it will tell us the breakdown. Like, most people have an incredible time. 5,000 people really think that it's an excellent location. 900 people think it's very good. 200 or so believe it's average. 91 said it was poor, and 53 say it was terrible. Because more than half of the people think it's very good or excellent, I tend to believe what those folks have to say. So now we can start just by, reading. So much to do and see. You'll need at least 4 hours minimum to see some of this beautiful highlights. You could easily spend a few days exploring, grab a map and head out. You can drive, hike, walk, hire a bike, take one of the many tours. So positive experience. This is from April of 2020. This is described as heaven on earth. If there is one place like heaven on earth, it is definitely the Yosemite National Park. Their family was there for 2 days. It was completely not enough, and they fell in love with the amazing, beautiful, magnificent scenes, especially the mountain views. They highly recommend it. Okay. If you are in California, you must see this. Walt Whitman and Ansel Adams loved this location, and with good reason. It's a wonder of natural beauties, falls, canyons, cliff faces, rivers, and wildlife. Magnificent views, great drive. So you're going to spend some time just clicking around and continuing to check out both the images that people have posted, like the majesty, the majesticness of the landscape is really what kind of takes my breath away. And we have outdoor perfection. So we have all of this experience that we can kind of draw on. And then I found a couple of videos. So I'm just going to share with you what your other experience is going to be. So while you're taking notes on the review page from TripAdvisor, you're going to grab some of that information that you think is the most relevant. Then we can kind of watch some video stuff.
Just 165 miles from San Francisco lies one of America's greatest treasures. Yosemite National Park sits on the western slopes of California's Sierra Nevada mountains. It also occupies a special place in the nation's soul. Yosemite's story began as the last ice age ended, when the glaciers of the region's high country scoured and sculptured the valley below. Managed by the National Park Service and covering almost 1,200 square miles, Yosemite takes in 5 vegetation zones, from oak and chaparral woodlands to sparse alpine high country.
So As you have time this week, you would essentially watch this 10-minute or 9-minute long video. And based on what you see and based on what you hear, is this a location that would drive you to be inspired? If money was not an option, and if you had the ability to just whoosh yourself away, would this be a place that you would one day want to go and visit? And just kind of keep that question in your mind. Another video option that you can go to would be like from National Geographic. They usually have these really wonderful experiences. Oh no, they're going to make us watch an ad. I'm going to see if I can skip over this. Give me 1 second. All right, so I shaved off a few seconds. So here we are now. So this video was created by National Geographic. And what this video or this type of video will allow you to do is just kind of skip over the narrative piece that we had from this video here from Expedia. And this will just kind of show you what it is that you're going to see. And then they include text that kind of lets you know what it is that you're looking at. So after you watch a couple of videos and after you read your reviews, then you're going to think about, okay, based on what I've read and what I've seen, what's my evidence? What's my opinion? So the first thing I'm going to want to do is pull this link, and that's going to be my TripAdvisor. The next thing I'm going to do is pull the link for this video. And then I'll pull the link for this one. And that's going to be where I got my evidence. Then I'm just going to start, talking about what it is that I read or saw. I read reviews that were posted on TripAdvisor, period. Over 5,000 people said that Yosemite National Park was an excellent place to go. Within those 5,000 reviews, many of them had recommendations for different types of activities to enjoy while you're in Yosemite National Park, period. Some of those activities include hiking, biking, and exploring the wilderness, period. I watched 2 YouTube videos, one that was published by National Geographic, and one was published by Expedia, period. Both videos highlight the majestic beauty of the landscape, period. The landscape ranges from very low valleys at about 2,000 feet elevation, and the highest point is over 13,000 feet, period. Of the videos that I watched, it seems as though the most driving characteristics that would make someone want to visit Yosemite National Park, it's the mountain views and the ability to climb some very impressive mountains, period. There's different zones of vegetation. different types of habitats and mammals that you can look at and see. Animals that live in this region include bears, moose, and elk, period. So this is just a very basic, simple review of what we've seen so far. I'm only looking for 8 to 10 sentences, and the more descriptive you can be, the better off we will be. So what I will do is just kind of go back over and do some of our editing. People said that Yosemite National Park was an excellent, and this was a direct quote, because it said on our Yosemite place that this many people said it was excellent. Period. And then within those 5,000 reviews, comma, many of them had a recommendation for different types of activities to enjoy while visiting. Oh, don't use the word "you" if you can avoid it. While in Yosemite National Park. Some of those activities included hiking, biking, and exploring the wilderness. I watched 2 YouTube videos, one that was published by National Geographic and one was published by Expedia. Both videos highlight the majestic beauty of the landscape. We don't need big M on that, so we can lowercase this and this. The landscape ranges from very low valleys at about 2,000 feet elevation, and the highest point is over 13,000 feet. All of the videos that I watched seem to suggest that the driving characteristics that would make someone want to visit Yosemite National Park include the mountain views and the ability to climb some very impressive mountains. There's different zones of vegetation, different types of habitats and mammals that you can look at and see. Animals that live in this region include bear, moose, and elk. So that's a pretty simple, straightforward review of the information that we read about. So we're just going to go through and do a few more quick edits. And then we'll move on to our last part. And for your conclusion, based on what we know, I'm looking for 4 to 5 sentences. Is your park worth visiting? And then tell me why you think so. So I'm confident that you guys can form your own opinions about this, but this is what I am looking for. So you've got your introduction, few statements, can probably fit most of this all onto one page. The links to the articles and videos that you've watched, language around your review, and then you have your basic conclusion. And then for this, I'll just wrap it up so I can say that I gave you a complete experience based on what I read and what I saw in the YouTube videos. I believe that Yosemite National Park is a national park worth visiting, period. I believe this because I enjoy mountainous landscapes, period. I like the idea of traveling to California and seeing a region of the country that I have not visited before, period. Based on the fact that 5,000 people who have reviewed their experiences on TripAdvisor, it seems like everyone who goes there has a really nice time and has really amazing transformative experiences, period. I recommend visiting this national park. So, based on this experience, at this point, our project is done. This step is complete. We wrote a review. We have a clear introduction, some evidence that we can reference, and we've made a clear concluding statement. So we'll just go through one more time, making our edits based on what I read and what I saw in the YouTube videos. I believe that Yosemite National Park is a national park worth visiting. I believe this because I enjoy mountainous landscapes. I like the idea of traveling to California and seeing a region of the country I have not visited before. Based on the fact that 5,000 people who have reviewed 5,000 people have reviewed their experiences on TripAdvisor, it seems like everyone who goes there has a really nice time and has a really transformative experiences. I recommend visiting this national park. So at this point, this response is done, and I can go ahead and click submit and be done with my task for the week for social studies class. So I do hope that I know that this video was a little on the longer side, but I wanted to show you that this topic, this particular activity, is not too tricky. Obviously, you want to go in and read a few of these. You will want to watch the full length of a couple of films, a total of 12 minutes. I think you guys can spare that. So go ahead and dive in, get started. Your due date for this is going to be Thursday, May 14th. And if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. But to reiterate, I am looking for a writing response like this from everybody. Even if you watch the videos together, even if you read the reviews together, I do want to see individual write-ups like this. So thank you so much, and have a great time learning about and experiencing your national park from afar. All right, talk to you later. Bye, friends.